person I am went onto Allie Hazelwood's website to figure out if we have an idea when the sequel of this book is going to come out. Answer is no, by the way. Um, and on the list of all her books, hear me out. We should do an episode on this. It's from a certain point of view, a Return of the Jedi Star Wars story.
No.
Oh my god, that's so funny. There is Star Wars in this book. No, wait, that was the other one. I don't think there's Star Wars in this one. Never mind. I've read too many Allie Hazelwoods in the past month. I read 2 Allie Hazelwoods last month.
Hold on. Let me show you my audio settings right now, and you're still so loud, and I don't even have my earbuds in. You're just playing out loud because that's how loud it is. Look at this. Look at this shit. The call one cannot go down any further, and if I put the other one on any further, there's no sound.
It just really wants me to be right in your ears.
I don't even have my earbuds plugged in, man. It's just loud.
I'm just a loud bitch. I'm fine with that.
My ears aren't. My ears hurt. My ears are sensitive.
Follow the podcast so we can replace the fish's ears in a year's time.
No, literally, because my whole family is really loud, and my mom will come home, and I'm like, every single day, at least twice a day, I'm like, you're up here, we need to be down here. And she's like, well.
Oh my god, when my mom comes home, she slams the basement door. Well, she stomps up the stairs so loud, and then slams the basement door so loud. And my stairs are right above that, right? Obviously. And there's, in my half bath along the wall to the stairs, because it's like a wall there, there's like a fake glass window there that you can't actually see through. But every time she stomps up the stairs and slams the door, it shakes that, and I'm waiting for the day it comes out. It almost comes out every single time. And then it makes, more than once, because our board games are sitting there, all our board games, and one time board game did fall from her slamming the door too hard. And then I yelled at her, and nothing changed. So.
That's slightly horrifying.
Yeah, I know.
It's
great. We love this life. Oh, you ready to talk about vampires? Wait. Let me put my heating pad back on. I took it off because sister was making thumbnail for me because I suck. I tried it, then I was like, I hate everything about this. Come help me. And then she just sat at my computer for 5 minutes and did it. Okay. You ready for this shit? You ready to talk about a book?
Sure.
Hello, welcome to a Fish and Flower podcast. I'm Flower, aka Rose. My fun fact, the fish does not know this. I did not message the fish when this happened, which was Monday. It's been 3 days that I have had curtain bangs. I bit the bullet. I gave myself curtain bangs. Well, my sister gave me curtain bangs, but I bit the bullet. I have, you can see me. There's, look at this shit.
Minimal bangage.
Minimal bangage because I was like, I don't need to go that crazy. Also, I look horrible with actual bangs. But, I was like, the state the world's in, I need bangs. So I have curtain bangs now. Lovely. Also, I still want to dye my hair pink. We're not talking about it.
My name is Fish, aka Stingray, and, I don't know if you paid attention to my streaks yesterday, but I did dye my hair again. It's red. Obviously, what color would it be? Also, I cut my hair a few weeks ago. Right. And now I have this fuck-ass bob. And I'm just like... it looks better. It looks better than it did, but also this was not the haircut. I need a different haircut. Listen. This is so serious. I need to look like a dyke. Like, I just need to look like a dyke. Like, I can't do this anymore. I just need to look like a dyke. I mean, I am one, so I look like one. Like, I can't. Like, this hair something's gotta give. Something's gotta give. Cause this hair, it does not.
If I go any shorter than this, I will look like a crazy person with my hair out to here. So, this is short, you're seeing it. Which is sad, because I do have the urge to cut it, like, up to here, but I know it's just going to look like this. So.
Well, you see, all the shorter... I want a more masculine haircut, too, for obvious reasons. but like all those haircuts are like the same 3 haircuts, you know? But also they're all like usually styled with natural texture, and I don't want to do. I like my hair straight. I like my hair straight. Do you understand my problem?
Yes.
It's horrible. This is so fish phobic, if you ask me.
I believe in you.
But on the bright side, my undercut is almost the same length as my hair now because I cut my hair.
That's. Is it really an undercut then?
I'm growing it out.
Okay.
That's what I meant. I've been growing it out. Gosh. I'm. Anyways,
Oh, I gotta mark me reading the contemporary it's done. They talk about werewolves and vampires banging.
Oh, I suppose.
On today's or this is Streaming Conscious podcast, very similar to how we talk to each other on a daily basis. Blah, blah, blah. That's our intro. Today's episode is Bride by Ali Hazelwood, a book I read just for the hell of it in September of last year. We're not talking about how it's been 4 months since I've read this book. A book that I kept on hearing was gonna be a series, but I kept on being like, okay, well, it's not even labeled as an existing series on Storygraph, so I don't believe you. Apparently, she has stated on her Instagram that a draft has been sent to her editor, but she's got to finish all her other projects before a sequel can come out. Which I'm down with, because I will say when I was reading it, like the last 50 pages, I was like, how is this the end of the book and this isn't a series? Because, like, girl? Um, Anyways, I will tell you this. There is, because it is vampire werewolf romance. There is nodding, and I hate to say that sentence and then say the sentence. This is my favorite Ali Hazelwood. I'm hiding my face in shame. I don't blame Ali. Okay, it's her fault. We have content warnings of sexual content and blood. Who would have guessed? In a book with vampires.
Who would have thunk the thought?
Violence, kidnapping, death of parent, abandonment. So many abandonment issues. Oh, she's got so
God.
many. She's got so many. It's so wonderful. Death, war, and confinement. Okay.
Sorry, could you just imagine the trigger warning list on my book? Literally every single one.
Hi, Ivy. I'm not giving you potato chips.
This is the last of the new potato chip, unfortunately.
Hi, Bobby. You're so cute. Aww. Okay. I'm going to the recaptains for this. The notes, whatever, what happens, which came out, I want to say, a week after I read it, which is so funny. So we love that. That's how I learned it was actually going to become a series, because they put it on their website. I went, oh, okay. I guess I'll read the sequel when it comes out, but also I'm not putting the series actually on my list of series I'm currently reading until the sequel comes out, or we get an announcement date, right? Like a release date, because A Girl's Got 79 book series she's in the middle of. She doesn't need another one.
The way it just keeps going up.
Yeah, listen, I pulled one out of my DNF series, which is also vampires, but we don't need to talk about how much of it I've read. I read a whole book, like a whole 450-page book of this vampires, but in one day. We don't need to talk about it.
Couldn't be me.
It's fun. It'll make a funny vlog, because by the end I was delirious, so, you know.
Why is Spirit Box being cryptic again?
Oh no. Okay. What happened in Bride? I forgot to mention her name. You're gonna love this. Her name is Misery. Yeah. So obviously I laughed really hard. She is, like, it opens on her wedding day. It's like an arranged forced marriage to the werewolf alpha, whose name is Lo. Every single time I did read his name, I did think of Lowe's, the hardware store. So
Oh my god.
um, the person who arranged the marriage is Misery's father, who's like a vampire councilman. He's like really high up on the hierarchy and whatnot. Um, he wants to secure a strong alliance between the vampires and werewolves. There's been a lot of wars between the werewolves and vampires, and it's getting to the point where the humans are starting to notice, and it's causing issues because the humans are needed. There's like three factions, and they're all like right next to each other, right? And so like imagine this triangle, and both the werewolves and the vampires need humans. Vampires more for feeding purposes, and so they usually have wars over humans so that who can eat the most and blah 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 blah, and all this stuff. There's a lot of wars. Also, there's a thing where the last time there was an arranged vampire and werewolf marriage in an attempt to force an alliance, right? Everyone at the wedding died. So
Oh. That escalated.
so she's kind of like, I gotta make sure this turns out okay. She has not met Lo yet. To quote whoever made this list on Recaptains, and I quote, she doesn't know that he's hot. I mean, yeah. She has a brother. His name's Owen. He is not about this marriage. He's kind of worried for her because, again, she is being one. The last time a marriage like this happened, everyone died. Two. Part of this marriage is that she will be forced to go into werewolf territory and the alpha's home for a year, I think it is, and live there under like the werewolves could do anything to her. Basically, like the whole thing with it's like this whole thing, I'll explain it now. Where in the alliance somebody else is also taken from the werewolf side and housed at the vampire base, right? And the whole purpose is knowing that at any point the other people could kill your person or hurt your person, with the knowledge that if they do that, you also hurt their person, and that's how the alliance works, right? So they're all like, if he doesn't care enough about this random werewolf they give us, he could totally kill you because like you're the daughter of one of the highest people in the council. Like you're kind of important, like all this stuff. So he's kind of a little worried. So Misery's father walks her down the aisle, whispering to her about dangers of werewolves and all this stuff. And
I'm
there's
sorry. I need everybody to be for real.
I know, right? She gets to him, and Lo sniffs her and is like freaking out about her smell. And she's all like, he's hot, but then he's like freaking out about her smell, so she's like, oh, he must hate me. That's why he's making this face. Us as readers are immediately like, he turned on, he into that sniff. Like, um,
Why do you speak like this?
because you hate it, and I love it. Listen, a lot of the stuff of like the romantasy aspects is kind of obvious, right? So there's a lot of occasional jumping through time stuff, like back in time, seeing stuff previously. One of them is seeing the day that she was ordered to come back to the compound, right? To talk to her father to agree to this wedding, right? Which was several weeks ago. And the people who like showed up to be like, "Hey, you gotta come in," was when she was working at her normal human office job, and then all these vampires come in and are like, "We gotta take you in." So obviously, um, she's basically fired, because she's a vampire. Also, her job was testing security systems to identify weaknesses. That's important because the fact that she can do computer shit is important for this book, right? Um, she's a vampire, but she also can code.
Oh my god.
Yeah. She just told everybody at her job that she has a disorder, and that's why she can't work during the day. She only can come in during nights. And about the fangs thing, I think she doesn't exactly file them down, but maybe she does file them down, something like that. I don't remember.
If she files them down, do they grow back?
Yes, I think so. Listen, she does drink a man's blood in this.
Oh, yay.
you know when it's sexy times and you just gotta take a little nibble nibble. I'm
I'm not
sorry.
gonna say what I wanted to say.
I um so in order to bring her in, the head of her father's guard, whose name is Vanya, threatens one of her coworkers to force her to come in, right? The nest is the center of the vampire community, and basically it's like uh their head government building. That's basically what it is. Um, her family owns the top floors of the building because they're that important. If that gives you an idea, yeah. There's some good old discussing of politics. Um, especially about how the previous human governor sided with the vampires over the werewolves, but someone named Garcia has been elected as the new governor. Um, and he feels that he can't control her as well, so that's why this alliance needs to happen, right? Because if they have to start a war, um, with the werewolves, he's not sure if the humans will fight against or with them, and they can't really fight on both fronts, right?
I mean, they could. I mean,
Um,
I mean, you can't really control what people do. They could go either way. I mean, I don't think it would be hard to join either one.
um, we learn that
Maybe I'm stupid.
Misery as a child grew up as what is called a collateral, meaning that as a child she was basically the same exact thing that's happening now with the marriage, but not marriage. The humans give over one human child, and they take one vampire child, which was her, during her generation, right? Uh, and as a
You know, if
promise
this
of
book was
peace.
written by someone else, it would have definitely been underage marriage.
Yep.
So, I think this is okay.
Yep. So there's like this like passing of two children, and so she grew up in the human world, which means that one like it's this whole thing, one of those whole things where societally you're supposed to be looked upon as like you did this great sacrifice growing up with the humans, being like knowing that at any moment they could kill you if one person took a wrong step, right? And so like you're supposed to like come back with all the accolades and whatnot, but what really happens is that you're basically shunned because you're not a real vampire. You lived with humans your whole life. You're gross and disgusting because you've only known humans. Whose fucking fault is that, anyways? Um, uh, that's a whole thing. So the reason why he's making her do this marriage to Lo to make this alliance with the werewolves is because Garcia does not like this whole thing and won't do it with human and vampire children again. Which valid, Garcia, we love you.
Yeah.
Uh, it's almost like she doesn't like child captives used for collateral. I don't know. Maybe. um,
Somebody's got to use their brain, I guess.
I know, right? The
Not
previous
us.
the previous alpha Roscoe was recently
Roscoe!
yeah was recently killed by Lo. So now he's the alpha. Um, and he's already shown that he's less violent than the previous alpha, and hence the peace talks, right? Um, and it's not like he asked her to do this marriage thing. He's like, yeah, so you're gonna do this marriage. Um, and she, and I quote this website: Misery doesn't want to do this because she's never met the guy, and also, ew, werewolves.
I...
Anyways, eventually when he hears the name of the werewolf that she'll be forced to marry for this alliance, she does agree. Cough, cough. There's a thing. Um, so it's back to the wedding day. She speaks to Davenport, the previous governor, human governor, and she tried to figure out information about her missing best friend, Serena. They were foster sisters, basically, in order to make it feel like. So there was this whole thing where growing up, as a child, in which she was kept as a child captive to be murdered at any point. As you can imagine, growing up, that caused mental issues, and caused some issues where,
Mhm.
also humans wouldn't hang out with her, because she's a vampire, and all this stuff. So the home that watched her took in a human orphan to force to be her friend. so that she wasn't lonely, and that's Serena. What happened is Serena went, "That's fucking fucked up," and they became best friends. um,
Valid.
they call each other sisters and all this stuff. And that happened when they were like 10. Uh, and Davenport kind of tells Misery that Lowe's mate is the werewolf who's being sent into the werewolves. That's what she thinks he's saying, right? And that is the vibe that you get the whole book until a certain point when you're like, wait a second, fam. Because what he says is that, as far as they know, like what they've said is that his mate is with the vampires, so they just took it as that. Can you guess who her mate is? Who his mate is yet? It's kind of obvious. It's kind of obvious.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
But because of that, they are kind of covering it with the. That's why when he smelled her, he went a little freaky because, obviously. And then they are using the fact that they think this other werewolf is his mate as a way to like play fast one on them. So they have their first dance, which is when they're first able to actually speak. And he seems to know a lot about her, including the assassination attempts on her life when she was a child.
That's crazy.
And he's all like, "Hey, why did you agree to this marriage? Because you are technically set for life. One, you come from the richest family, and two, you were the collateral. So you should be set for life. What are you doing here?" And she doesn't answer. There's this whole thing where somebody tries to come up to her at the wedding reception to slit her throat.
Bro, be serious.
I know, right? Lo stops it, obviously. And then immediately she's sent to live with the werewolves. Imagine that. Imagine. Just fucking imagine. Anyways, so that
I don't have to imagine, you're telling me about it.
Okay. That night she's woken up by a child named Anna, or is it Anna? I can't tell the two apart. I'm gonna go with Anna. Anna tells Misery that she used to stay in the bedroom.
Hold on, now I'm gonna Google.
In the bedroom that is now Misery's, and that Lo is in the room next door. And she's all like, "Is Lo Anna's father?" But then another werewolf called Juno, fucking every time I read the name Juno, I think of that movie with Elliot Page, comes in and tells Misery that Anna is Lo's sister, and the father is dead.
Oh. But also, yes, Juno, very good movie. I love Juno.
I know you do.
So nostalgic. Well, when you're like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, and every time you go in your mom's room, all you see is the lady on the TV walking and drinking Sunny D and then going to pee. Like, that just sticks in your head. I don't know.
Okay.
They would play it on USA a lot. You remember that TV channel?
Yeah, the good old days.
Good old days.
So, you may be like, "Hey, what's going on with Serena's disappearance?" So, every time I read the word Serena, I'm thinking of Gossip Girl. Anyways, she disappeared weeks ago and didn't tell anyone where she was going. And Misery's worried something bad happened. She tried to go to the police. She did the normal thing of she did the right thing of going to the police, and the police went, "Oh no, she probably just left." Women do that, especially orphan women. They just leave sometimes.
Be serious.
So, she broke into Serena's apartment to investigate and found a piece of paper with L.E. Moreland written on it. L space E. Which is, Moreland is Lowe's last name. And, Lowe is spelled Lowe, so that's why she agreed to the marriage, right? So she has been trying to figure out who this L.E. Moreland is, found a memo on a government server that said, Lo met with Garcia around the time of Serena's disappearance, so she's like suspicious, weird, right? I love when it just gives me a character's name. A random new character alert, Alex.
That's
Shows
a normal name. A normal name. Oh my god, it's a normal name.
Alex shows Misery around, and says that Lo has a mate named Gabrielle, um, and explains like werewolf powers and how Lo is the strongest of them all, and the normal basic
Sorry.
shit. What are
I
you?
just gotta laugh.
What?
I can't. This is so serious.
You,
I'm sorry.
you stop laughing at me. Um, a young werewolf named Max. There's a new one. New one.
Oh my god.
He shows up and is very hostile towards her. So they argue about the different things their people have done to each other, right? And then he attacks her, and I think he chokes her out or something like that. And Lo comes up and separates them. And I remember there's like this whole thing where they're like Max. Is it? Yeah, it's Max's name. Max is all like, it's all her fault. She's the one that was saying all this stuff, and she started it because like she sharpens her nails, so she like tried to scratch him, right? Um, and so he's all like, she attacked me first, and right, and she's like, why am I even trying to explain my side? Like they're just gonna believe him because he's the werewolf and I'm the vampire. Like I just gotta try to survive another year of going through people trying to assassinate me and people not trusting or protecting me. Just another year of this bullshit. Anyways. Yep. Judo tries to say that Misery was trying to drink from Max. Um, and she's all like, "That's dumb. You have a fridge full of blood bags for me."
Myth.
Yep. Yep. And then she was like, also he said that Lo's a traitor. Right? And Juno gets mad because that means that Max may be a loyalist, which are the people who follow the old Alpha still and don't like the fact that Lo is trying to make alliances, right? Um, so because of this attack, Misery is assigned some guards. Most important one to talk about is this sweet older werewolf named Mick. How many characters can we have? How many? um, so her brother calls, and she asks him to look into the loyalist thing because she doesn't know what that means. Um, oh yeah, so when Misery broke into Serena's room or apartment, she had a cat, which she didn't know about. So she took the cat in, and so she still has the cat, right? Um, and Anna keeps on keeps on showing up in Misery's room and names the cat Sparkles. Um, So while Lo is away, doing werewolf business at night, she breaks into his room, and sees some architectural sketches in his closet. And then, the last sketch done is a sketch of her that, weird. um, so there's a werewolf party. Misery is invited. So she's just watching from the window as she notices
Why do I
Max.
feel like a werewolf party would go so hard?
She notices Max leading Anna away from the way into the woods. Um, so Misery runs out to intercept, but it is daylight currently. So she's like in the process of burning as she's fighting this.
Parties during the day.
I don't know, werewolves apparently. You know what it is? It's most likely that they made the party during the day just so that she couldn't come.
That's rude.
Anyways, she does manage to stop that bitch as she's literally like being burned from the sun. Um, and then all the other werewolves come from the trees, and tie him up and question him. Uh, cough cough. The party was actually a trap for him to try to kidnap Anna, right? And they can catch him. And that's why it was during the day, so that she wouldn't intervene. So she went to intervene, and then she went and got burned anyways because she started to grow on this child. Like the child has been the only person who like talks to her regularly, so she's like, I like this child. So they're like questioning him. It turns out they were already suspicious of him working with the loyalists. So and Anna was never in any danger, blah, 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 blah. Max refuses to admit anything. So Misery uses her. So I would like to remind you, she still has, like, second-degree burns all over her body. I'm pretty sure Lo has, like, given her a jacket because, like, also it's her nighttime. So, like, she's in pajamas. Right? And she was barefoot at the time. And so I think he gives her a sweater or something. So, she's all like, wait, I may be able to help. And then uses her vampire powers to hypnotize Max so that he talks. And he admits that he was taking Anna to the Loyalist to force Lo to step down. And Max says that the person who he thinks is in charge is the previous Alpha's mate, Emery. But he hasn't spoken to her himself, right? And then the werewolves are like, the fuck you can do that? And send her to her room. And she's like, yeah, I don't use it, but yeah.
You know, I have a question. Where did the whole vampires versus werewolves thing come from anyways? Because I feel like they could be friends.
You know, I don't ask questions. I just live here. I just read a lot of vampire romances recently. We don't need to talk.
I mean, they're both predominantly out at night, correct? Like, I mean, they could be friends. We could be buddies. Like, I don't...
Listen, I'll give you the Vampire Diaries lore reason why, which is the fact that the original first version of the vampires, right, they lived in a village that was tormented by werewolves on the full moon, and that's why they are enemies. Also, one of the original vampires...
That's a coincidence.
One of the...
Because they could have been... they could be going at any village. That was just a coincidence that they happen to be vampires.
And also, one of the original vampires was secretly the bastard son of one of the werewolves.
That's crazy.
We love collapse here. We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about how I've been rewatching Vampire Diaries.
We don't need to talk about how I've been doing literally nothing for months.
I love that for you. Misery looks around those office while they're distracted with Max, right? And hacks into his computer. Cal and Lo show up, and it's all very awkward. Who the hell is Cal?
Yeah, I was like, who the hell is Cal? I was like, pause, wait.
I love this. This is fun. I love that she has new characters showing up all the time. Was there a Cal beforehand?
I don't think so. That's why I was like, who the fuck is Cal? Does he have no rights? Or is this I was like...
I assume he's like one of the like close to low people. I don't know. So Lo says that he should consider this a sign of aggression from the vampires. Her searching his office, right?
Can we just be normal for 2 seconds? Like,
right? And Misery admits that she's searching for information about her best friend. Ooh, thank you for my fried rice. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Hot. Oh, that's yummy. Alright, that's good. Oh, yeah.
Hey, I think it's hot.
I think it's hot, too.
Did you notice?
Yeah. Ivy, I'm not giving it to you.
Poor Ivy dog. Poor overweight Ivy dog.
Exactly. She admits that she's searching for information about Serena. And she asks about the L.E. Moreland thing, and then learns that Anna's full name is Liliana Esther Moreland, meaning Serena was looking into Anna for some reason, which is weird. So now they're both kind of working together to figure out what happened to Serena, because if they do that, he wants to figure out why somebody would be looking into his sister, right? So they're kind of working together. So he gives her some information that only Juno and Carl know, and that, which is basically Anna is only his half sibling. Being as they have the same mother, who werewolf, but her father was human.
Guess.
Which is suspicious weird, because that's not a thing that happens.
Pause. Serena somehow related to them?
In a way.
I mean, just from what you said and the other stuff, like that was my first thought. Are they cousins or something? I don't know.
I'll give you this now. She is another half werewolf. That's why she was looking into this child. Who
Oh.
she found evidence that she was a half werewolf because she was starting to change herself, and she was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, I feel like that I would freak out too if I just randomly started changing into a werewolf. I'd be like, pause, this is cool, but like I'm a werewolf, cool, but what the fuck is going on?
Yep. Yeah, so that's why she was looking into her. Because she was an orphan, but like as far as she could tell, her mother was human, I think. So on her birth certificate, so that was like a whole thing. Um, so Lo tells Misery, that Roscoe was threatened by him, the old alpha,
I'm
and
sorry,
was
I can't get over that name.
and was known to be cruel and will kill anyone who stood against him. And that's how their mother died. Lo and Anna's mother died. And so because of that, because he was all like, if he learns that Anna's like a half breed, oh no. So that's why he challenged him. And he was like going into architecture. That's why there was all those drawings of architecture in his art book because he was like, he's a big architecture nerd and all this stuff, and he gave up all his dreams to protect his sister and normal things. Okay. I already brought up how they're working together. Juno apologizes for being mean, and her and Misery become fast friends. Anna's sad when the other werewolves shift during the full moon because she isn't able to. And so Misery has her stay in her room because she also can't change for obvious fucking reasons. So they're just hanging out, the two non-werewolf people. Uh, so Misery overhears Alex trying to show. Alex is the person who is the computer expert at the werewolves headquarters.
Mhm.
Except she's much better than him, so it's very funny. Her just saying things and him being like, "Yo, fuck." Um, and when she overhears him trying to teach
I
Lo,
love when women are smarter than men. It happens so often, but like still.
trying to show Lo how to use a computer, and she's all like, they're clearly up to something. Mick interrupts and tells them Anna has cooked dinner and wants them all in the dining room. Um, and Anna also wants to throw a birthday party for Misery.
Aww.
I know, right? I love this kid. Lo tells the werewolves that he plans on meeting with Emery. Everyone agrees that it's a totally it's a trap. It's a trap, my dude. And so while they're on their own, she asks him if it's like all a secret ploy to put spyware in her base of operations, right? Um, which and also explains is a really terrible plan because he's really bad at computers. And so she's like, you know who's not bad at computers? Me. And I am technically your wife, so you could just bring me with. Right. Um, he explains that Mick used to be Roscoe's second, and Mick's family are dead, and assume they were killed by humans. Lil also explains the concept of mates, and that sentence a big factor. Remember that time at their wedding when he sniffed her and acted weird? I love how I'm being so obvious about the most obvious point of this book. I would. This is a great point for me to stop this and tell you that I did get multiple other people to read this book. One of them rated it 5 stars. The other one is a straight white man who is still reading it.
Girl, anyways.
I'm skilled.
Now if you could get me to read anything, that would be great.
I don't know, right?
Like, in a few months, it'll be a year that I've been in a reading slump.
That's not cool. Stop it.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. So, Lo and Misery fly to meet with Emery. They need to pretend that Misery is truly part of the pack, so, before they get off the plane, I would like to know. He's the one that flies the plane. I'm pretty sure. But while they're still on the plane before they leave, he gets his smell all up and over her and marks her so that everyone believes that she's protected by the werewolves and she's one of them and blah blah blah. Right. Um. Anyways, Emery hosts a dinner. Lo explains that he's never marked anyone like that before because his mate doesn't know that they're mates and he doesn't want to influence her. I'm just gonna take a bite of my stir fry and leave that there.
I mean,
An ally of Lowe's, Cohen, another character.
Cohen?
Cohen,
What
yep.
type of name was that? Cohen, like
I don't.
Cowen?
Koen.
Koen? What are we?
I just
What
live
are
here,
these
bestie.
names?
Where is Cohen? Where was I? So Cohen is an ally and distracts Emery so that Lo and Misery can access the computer. He's an alpha of another pack. There's this thing where there's another werewolf. I think he's a werewolf named John. He's at the dinner and he's wearing a vial of vampire blood around his neck. It's like this thing where some werewolves will take the blood of vampires after they kill them and wear it around their necks to show off. And she's like, I feel
That's
uncomfortable.
crazy.
Yeah, she's like, I feel uncomfortable now. Thanks. And there's this whole thing where Lo's like, I'll protect you. Anyways, they excuse themselves from the dinner because of that. They use that as an excuse, right? And they're installing the code on the computer, but guards wander by, and so with his permission, in order to be a distraction, and they don't know there's a computer code running, behind the door, like they're like half behind the door, and so when the guards come in, they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they see her feeding on him, and then the guards take them back to the dinner. So Cal calls up and tells Lo that he needs to come home because something is going on with Anna. Misery and Lo return immediately, and she's quite ill. Vampires don't tend to get sick and don't know about human treatment, so Misery advises on what medicine to get because she's like lived with humans her whole life and her best friend's a human and all this stuff, right? Excuse me as I take another bite. Hi Ivy. I just bonked her on the head.
Poor Ivy dog.
Pause.
I just thought about something.
What?
Your grandparents leave her there with y'all for like so long, and then I just thought about the fact she probably misses them.
She definitely does.
That's so sad.
She gets abandonment issues every time they leave her.
Poor Ivy dog.
And then she acts out because of it. It's like having a teenager.
I think it's like having a fish.
I love that for me. So Misery gets Alex to get a list of humans that were part of the Human Werewolf Bureau, right? Owen, which one was Owen? I don't remember. Realizes that Misery fed on Lo and tells her she should keep it a secret. Because obviously werewolves will talk and they don't like that. He also advises her not to do this again because feeding can cause attachments to form. Oh, her brother. Oh. He's her brother. Her brother. That took me so long. He's all like, hey, don't tell anybody because people will talk. And two, because she's never really fed on like actual human beings, like or people. She has been feeding on blood bags her whole life, right? Because she didn't grow up in vampire society. And apparently there's like this weird attachment that can happen if you continuously feed from a person. So he's like, don't do that. That's kind of funny. Don't do that anymore. So Lo's all like, hey, Misery, can you look for Anna's father because maybe that has something to do with this. And they're like hanging out, and she falls asleep Oh no, she passes out. He's about to kiss her. And she passes the fuck out.
What?
Because she's sick now too.
Oh my god.
Right? Lo gets a hold of a vampire doctor called no, I just saw the name. Dr. Averill. He says Misery has been poisoned. Weird.
How did she? Was it the?
I will explain in a second. So her body will enter trance state. So how they poisoned her is they think that they were going for Anna, but here's the thing. The one human thing Misery eats on the reg, I think they talked about this when Anna laid them lunch and whatnot, is peanut butter. Because like there's this whole thing where like actually eating human food is very difficult for them, but the texture of peanut butter makes it so that she can eat it and she likes the taste of it, and all this stuff. So it's like the one human thing she eats on the reg. And
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about this. The texture of it is easy to eat
because you don't have to chew it.
Well, there's a lot, but like, I don't know. I just feel like the thickness and stuff would be like weird. I don't know.
I just
you don't have to chew yogurt either. Does she not like yogurt?
So yeah, that's like there was like this whole scene when she was eating peanut butter out of the jar and like making a face like, "Ooh, this is very delicious." Closed her eyes and whatnot, and he was staring at her very intently. So they don't clock this until later, but she has her own special jar of peanut butter that's kept with her blood bags that he got her. Right? So they like just assume that somebody poisoned the peanut butter to get to Anna, and she ended up eating the same peanut butter, and that's how she was poisoned, right? But they don't clock until later that no, she has her own peanut butter, so they had to specifically poison her. That was the point. At one point, Misery wakes up and finds a white wolf guarding her door, and it makes her go back to bed, and they fall asleep together. Obviously, it's low. It's fucking low. We all know it's low. So Anna has been sent away in case war between werewolves and vampires breaks out due to poisoning. Owen asks Misery to come home, but she refuses. And he's all like, okay, to try to get her to come home, he's like, somebody broke into Serena's apartment. So weird. Alex finds emails between Serena and somebody called, God, this name, Thomas Jalakis.
I don't think you're gonna say Thomas Jefferson.
That'd be funny. At the bureau, they apparently met up before she disappeared. So Lo and Misery go for dinner with Davenport. Davenport, the old human senator? Governor.
Girl, I don't know. I'm just here. Why is there like 20 million people in this damn book?
I know, right? He appointed Jalakas to his position. I really hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Lo tells Davenport that his mother worked with him, and that Davenport says he died in a car accident initially, but then Lo threatens him, and he admits that he had been killed for talking to a journalist about department embezzlement. Misery has a theory that Serena felt she had to go into hiding because of Davenport, right? Also, Lo's theory is that this Jalakas guy is Anna's father. Because he was working with his mother around the time that she got pregnant. Lo and Misery meet with her brother, Owen, Gabby, assumably Lo's mate, is also there. And she's like, there's like, at this point, they've had a lot of flirting and feelings and whatnot, and she's like, I gotta give him money because that's just like mate, and that's what he really cares about, and not me. I'm just somebody who has to be here for a year. And you, as reading it, is just like, bitch, wake the fuck up. You're clearly his mate. Like, come on. Right? Owen, her brother, tells her that he plans to oppose their father and he wants her support. He wants to dismantle the whole collateral thing, because of what happened to her as a child. The fact that she was constantly almost murdered and her father did not care, makes him feel some kind of way. We love him. I really want the next one to be a him romance. I don't think that will happen, but I would like it. And he wants better negotiation alliances between the species. Lo's all into it, so he's all like, yeah, we'll support you. Misery realizes that Gabby isn't Lo's mate. From the way they interact, he's very much treating her like an alpha to random werewolf, not a guy to his mate. And she's all like, well, he did say that he was trying to keep it a secret. And she's like, no, because like he's closer with me, just the random vampire he has to be married to, than this werewolf who's supposedly his mate. No, that's not really his mate. I wonder why. Where am I?
I don't know.
What year is it? Lo and Misery stop at her apartment. She confronts him about Gabby, and how he let her believe that Gabby was his mate. He was supposed to offer a blood relative for the collateral, but he didn't want to give up Anna. And he doesn't have anybody else. So Gabby volunteered. Right, and then they just went with the mate thing. Misery tells Lo, so like she can't tell anybody that is not actually his mate, because then they will go back on the whole alliance thing, because the whole reason they accepted Gabby is the thought that she's his mate. Misery tells Lo that she thinks their mates. He rejects her and leaves. I was like, they were going hot and heavy against a wall right before this.
Oh my god!
I know, right? He sends
that would have made me that would have pissed me off so bad.
He sends Mick to pick her up, and Mick, who is like the old guy who guards her, right? He's like the sweet guy who cares for Anna and all this stuff. Injects her with something and knocks her out.
I'm sorry.
She wakes up and sees Serena. They're being kept in a tiny room together, where Serena's been there for 3 months.
What the fuck?
She confirmed she was investigating Davenport's embezzlement crimes. That's how she learned about Anna being of two species. And so Serena and Misery managed to escape the room by threatening a guard and realized they were not in the nest. Her father, Secretary Vanya, stops them from leaving and takes them to her father, who tells Misery that they have Mick's son, and that's why he's working for them. Right? She argues I know, right? She argues with her father. I'm pretty sure at this point, I feel like I have to bring this up. I'm pretty sure at this point, Lo and Misery have had sex. I would also like to note, before this, she was a virgin.
Is that just a thing in Allie's books? Or is it just happen to be the two I know of?
I think it just happens to be the two you know of. Because as somebody who has read 2 last month, neither one of them had either one of them being virgins, but it did have in them both of them being not doing the deed anytime recently, like been multiple years.
Okay.
So, oh my god, did I send you the Instagram reel that's like, ladies, if you didn't come to completion, then you're still a virgin, or it doesn't count. And then it cuts to another woman, because it's like a clap thing, and she's all like, cool, I'm a virgin. Oh my god. I gotta finish my rice, it's getting cold. Alright. Okay. Her father says he needs to ensure that werewolves and humans stay at war so they don't team up against the vampires.
What?
Cue me shaking my head. If anyone finds out about the interbreeding, the werewolves and humans could use this against the vampires. Shaking my head. He says that Davenport told her that a half-werewolf human child existed 2 decades ago. Too long ago to be Anna. Cough, cough, it's Serena. Who...
I'm sitting here thinking that they're probably not the first few kids that this has happened to either.
Yeah.
Be serious.
And she was in contact with who is probably Anna's father, trying to figure out about her own parentage. And I think that's when Jolakis found out that he had a daughter and informed Davenport, and Davenport promoted him to try to get him to drop it, but in the end he had to have him killed. Yay! Lo is brought in handcuffs, and demands he hands over Anna, and says that he knows Misery is his mate. He doesn't deny it. She's all like, that's totally a fucking lie. Like, he's not my mate. Honestly, because I brought it up to him and he said he's not, and then left. And he just is like, I may have lied. Right. So her father threatens to kill her if Lo doesn't hand over Anna. Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing?
He's all like, I kill your mate, or you give me your sister.
Literally, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what are we on about? Like,
also he admits that he did poison the peanut butter, to try to kill her and whatnot. Obviously, he should get a #1 dad mug. I feel like we should take it and bash it across his head.
We finally have a dad worse than mine. Yours is not in the counting. Like, he's just not in the race. Sorry about it.
So, when they were growing up, to annoy the caregivers and whatnot, her and Serena would have a secret language. And so they use it, so that Serena can tell Misery that she can shift. And Misery tells Lo by telling him that Anna can't shift now, but she should be able to when she's older. Cough, cough, there's another hybrid in this room and she can shift right now. He immediately clocks what she's saying. And so they shift, together and rip everybody apart. We like violence in this house, apparently.
Everybody clap.
Mick is interrogated. And Owen says that he and Lo realized that Mick was up to something and was probably working for their father, right? Her brother tells their dad that he's taking over, and the dad is imprisoned. So there's like this whole thing where she's in the room and they're like low-key torturing him for information and whatnot, and they're like, "You want to kill him?" And she's like, "No." He would hate imprisonment more and all this stuff. Cool scene, blah blah blah. Her brother's all like, "Hey, you don't need to return to the warehouse. You can just come home," and all this stuff. And she's obviously in her head like, "Bitch, why would I do that? I've never been accepted here. You think I'm gonna be accepted now?" Right? So Misery drops Serena off at Juno's place so Serena can spend time with the werewolves, and then she heads to the warehouse and finds her things boxed up. Lo says that Mick and his son have been reunited, but Mick is still like in trouble for obvious fucking reasons. Most amongst being trying to poison and also kidnapping his alpha's mate. Lo and Misery chat about the relationship and the whole mate thing, and he says her things were only packed up so he could install vampire-safe windows. I realized what the second book's gonna be about. Okay, right? So there's this whole thing, they're in a relationship now, I think she's moving into his room, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? They're happy. Who fucking cares about it? There's a lot of banging somewhere, so I didn't bring any of the banging up. There's like a bunch of banging. I'm pretty sure there's a part where she bites him while they're banging.
Iconic. Sorry, but like...
Yeah, and like after her brother was like, "Don't do that because it may cause attachment." But he's all like, "No, I want you to do it. I want you to feed from me," even after she tells him that. I wonder if they were mates the whole time.
You know.
And then Cohen, I don't remember who the fuck Cohen is, but Cohen brings Anna back, and in the process meets Serena, and bam, Cohen and Serena are mates. That's
so is that
probably,
yeah.
Anyways, That was his book, 4.5 stars. Last week my sister did ask me what my favorite Allie Hazelwood was, and I did say this one, so.
I can't really have an opinion. I've only read one of them.
Also, I feel like I should be applauded for not telling you every detail about the nodding scene.
I forgot that was a thing.
The fact that I made other people read this book knowing that was in there. I'm diabolical. Yeah, imagine him nodding and her drinking his blood at the same time. I'm pretty sure that happens.
That's crazy. I feel like I would have liked this book if I read it, though.
Oh, you definitely would. This is your type of fantasy where it's like light in the fantasy. Like I think is it considered urban fantasy when it's like modern world fantasy aspects? I think
Girl,
so.
I don't know. You're supposed to know those things.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
No, but don't worry, because in a few months, if I go, I just in a few, if I, God, in a few months, if I ever try to read it, it'll only take me a few months to like, forget everything. If not a few days, so it'll be fine when I go to read it.
Hey, I'll tell you now. There's only an 8-day wait on the ebook.
Bestie, I still haven't finished.
There's a 51-day wait on the audiobook.
I started 2 books last month. I'm halfway through one of them and 34% of the way through another one. And yeah, I haven't picked up the other one, the first one, since like mid-January. I'm enjoying both of these books. Why the fuck am I not picking them up?
Don't ask me. Okay, do you have anything else to say?
No.
Thank you.